What's up peeps, how's it going? Dave here. Demoman is my main. I love him, I want his babies. He's super versatile, he can get across the map quickly, he can defend like a beast. I tend to use the vanilla loadout and rely on my stickies quite a lot. I find that generally speaking, stickies are more reliable at dealing out damage than pipes. It might just be because I'm terrible at getting direct hits with the pipes. But anyway, I thought I'd do a tips video, put together top 10 tips because it sounds nice and everyone loves lists. Probably a lot of these are fairly obvious, maybe for beginners, maybe some more advanced stuff in here as well. Basically these are just things I picked up over the last several years of playing as a Demoman, and then just sort of, these are things that I noticed I was doing often. So I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you in the next one. So we're going to start off by taking a look at a technique I use an awful lot and it's saved me countless times. I'm coming out of spawn here, I'm doing a sticky jump, and I thought I noticed something out the corner of my eye there, so I'm just going to turn around and take a look in this hut. Now because I've done the sticky jump, my health is a little bit lower than I'd like, so I'm going to go in here and grab this health. Before I do that, I'm just going to throw down a sticky bomb real quick. Just the one, as a precaution, in case I get snuck up on. It's not meant to, necessarily kill the enemy, but it's just that one solitary sticky bomb that, if I do get attacked, will give me the advantage. In this case, the sniper comes up, so I was just able to detonate that and take care of him fairly easily. In this case, the sniper, not too much of a threat, but if that was a pyro, that may just have saved my life. This last example, I am being a bit of a pain to these engineers. This guy's not best pleased, so I kind of start to back off. I need time to reload here, so I'm just going to throw down another sticky bomb here. I'm not sure if he's going to pursue me or not, but at least I've got that sticky bomb there anyway. In this case he does decide to pursue me, so I can sort of fend him off with that first one. Again, putting another sticky bomb down. At this point I'm assuming he's definitely going to retreat. He didn't end up retreating and I can fairly easily take him out. The examples we just looked at were fairly defensive, but you can use a similar technique in a more general way throughout your gameplay, simply by placing sticky bombs down in populated areas of the map. So in this example we're looking at Gold Rush, and I'm just coming down into this area here. I don't know if I'm going to see any people come around this corner, but I do know there's people always coming and going here, so before I move on I'm just going to place 2 sticky bombs down, just in case I'm followed by a pyro or anything. In this case, a soldier does come around the corner, and I'm able to really easily take him out and be on my way. This is another technique I use really often, especially on maps with large open spaces. So here we're on Borneo and I've just come out of spawn and I've immediately started charging up a shot by holding M1, just in case I need it, and if I spot any enemies in the distance I can engage with them quicker. As I come around this corner, again charging up a shot, and I notice that a soldier and medic pair are coming through that door. Now a Demoman wouldn't normally be able to attack them with a regular shot, but because I'm half charged up I can immediately throw a sticky bomb all the way over to them and get a little bit of damage out to give me a bit more of an upper hand. In this example again, I've come out of spawn and I've immediately started charging my weapon. I notice in the distance that there's a soldier and he's spamming our base, so I decide I'll take a pot shot at him just to sort of discourage him, and I'm lucky enough to get a crit, so I end up taking him out. So this tip isn't simply about using charged shots, it's more about preparing well in advance to use them. So in this example here, there's a corner coming up, and this is the very moment I start actually charging the shot. I know there's a large area around here, so having that charged shot at the ready is likely to be really useful. I come around the corner and I spot the reds in the distance, and I'm able to send a sticky bomb their way and immediately cause a little bit of damage and help with this push. So this is a little bit like the first technique we looked at, but instead of putting down 1 or 2 stickies real quick and then moving on, this is more about putting down several stickies to take control of an area. In this scenario, I'm pushing the cart on Borneo and I'm a bit concerned about that base to the right of me, so I'm a little bit worried about where the enemy might be coming from. So what I'm doing is I'm putting several sticky bombs down behind me and in front of me, just in case an enemy comes up. And in this example, I see a spy, so I can take him out really quickly and easily. As soon as I've detonated those, I'm putting up a bunch more, just so I've got control of this entire area. And again, a pyro comes around that corner and I can immediately take him out without much difficulty. It's kind of difficult to find good examples of this in action, But here's another scenario that kind of worked. I'm trying to take out this spy, I'm taking a little while, but eventually I do get him, and then I notice there's a scout who's going to basically try and attack me. I put a few stickies down, obviously trying to take him out, but I'm unsuccessful and he's gone off through that doorway. Now I'm going to leave those stickies there, basically in an effort to control that route to me, so I feel a lot safer as I grab this health and come up these stairs. I know that, you know, that scout's unlikely to try and attack me from that angle at least, and I can concentrate on these NGs. So this next tip is about making sure you detonate your stickies at the optimum moment. A good example of that is when there are enemies on the cart and they haven't seen you. Just hold off on detonating until you've got 2 or 3 stickies down. I could be, you know, mashing the right click button here and causing him a little bit of damage, but it would just alert him of my presence. So if I hold off on that, make sure I've got 3 good stickies down, he's fully on top of them, and then I can shoot 1 more for luck and detonate, and that's probably going to take care of most enemies. So in this clip, I turn around and I see this heavy in the corner. He's obviously going to take a lot of damage to take down. He's being ever so sneaky right there. So I take a shot at him, and I could easily, you know, right click and start detonating these straight away, but that will make it clear that perhaps he needs to get out of there. So instead, let's just make sure I've got 3 or 4 stickies down, do as much damage as possible in one go. Turns out even 4 wasn't enough, but we do manage to take him down in the end with a little bit of help. The other element to this tip is when you're facing faster classes, and it's just about leaving stickies on the floor if they're not near enough the enemy to do any damage. So in this scenario, I've put a couple down between me and this scout. He's unfortunately not run over at either of them, so I'm not going to detonate them, just leave them there. In this case, I put a 3rd one down, he is running towards it, so I'm going to detonate, but the more you put down, the more likely he's going to run over one. It's the same kind of thing here. We're pushing this cart around this corner under a lot of pressure. I'm really fortunate to get a crit here, but it's not really near anyone. I could detonate straight away, you know, maybe I'll get some damage, but instead I'm leaving it there, so if anyone does come around that corner, I can finish them off. Again, I'm lucky to get another crit here. I could detonate straight away, perhaps do some damage to that medic, but instead I'm just going to leave it there, and if anyone comes up those stairs, I can finish them off really easily. Dealing with close quarter combat classes as a demo man can be quite difficult, and if you turn around mid-game and see this guy running towards your face, it can be a little bit intimidating. I'm not going to lie, this image haunts my dreams at night. But there are a few techniques you can try out to help avoid the inevitable charge of the demo man. The first thing I would say is to never backpedal or run directly away from the attack. In this case, I'm doing a quick sidestep, I'm putting a sticky bomb directly beneath my feet, and I'm kind of moving in towards where the demo man came from. That way I'm able to get that first sticky bomb on him and juggle him in the air slightly and then finish him off. A similar example here, I'm just dropping down to this area and I'm now in close proximity with this pyro. You may think to run backwards, but at this point I'm just going to run directly towards him. He didn't expect that, and therefore he just charged right past me and I was able to avoid most of the damage. So sometimes it is okay just to sort of move backwards and plant stickies at your feet. It just depends really on the scenario and how far the enemy is away from you. So in this example, a spy is coming at me. Maybe he's going to run back from the way he came, or he may try to charge at me. So I'm just going to run backwards and put stickies at my feet. In this case, he does decide to follow me and I'm able to avoid his attack. Exactly the same with this engineer. He comes around the corner, charges right at me. I'm able to move backwards and plant stickies at my feet and take him out. Wasn't sure exactly what to call this one, but this is basically something I do when I want to try and initiate a push or stop a push, and it's just where you basically use all your ammo in a short period of time, charging in, using all your stickies, and then flicking quickly over to your pipes and using all of those too. A lot of spam involved and just trying to move things forward. The demo man can put out a lot of damage in a short period of time, and so this is just about taking advantage of that. This is often how I play. I run in, use all my ammo, do a huge amount of damage, and then retreat back and reload, ready for the next blitz. In this example, I start off by putting out the damage and spam towards the front of their line of defense, and then I gradually move that back, following them as they retreat. So I'm just sort of constantly pushing them back, keeping up that damage, and so me and my team can push forward. So this is kind of an obvious one, and it's about intuiting where the enemy is going to move to next. And often it's the case that they're actually going to be trying to retreat from the situation. In this case, I've got a scout, and instead of aiming directly at him, I'm just placing the sticky bombs behind him, because I know that there's more of us than him, and he's bound to be, kind of trying to get out of this situation soon. So as he does run away, I'm able to get some damage on him, and then I'm able to get another sticky out and finish him off. In this example, behind me a scout runs into this corner, and I know there's only one way he's bound to want to run, and it's to the right. So instead of aiming stickies directly at him, I'm going to just block off his escape route and let him run into my stickies. This is just something that I notice that I do really often, especially when we're pushing and we've kind of got the upper hand. Like this situation here where there's a couple of enemies but our team's coming at them, and I know they're bound to be running from where they came, so I'm just aiming to the left of them and letting them run into the stickies again. One last example here, I noticed that I get some damage on that first hit, so I run back and see what I've got. There's a bunch of enemies in this little doorway, and because we're getting a lot of damage on them, they're bound to retreat to the left, so I'm just going to place all my stickies to their left and let them run through them, and therefore I get a bunch more damage onto them. As a demo man, you often get into the scenario where there's a corner, and around that corner there's something you need to deal with, and it's putting out a lot of damage. A good example is a sentry or a heavy, and in this case the sticky bomb launcher is an ideal weapon. In this case I've got a sentry and a bit of a base around this corner. As soon as I see my matey blow up, all I have to do is plant sticky bombs on that near corner and let the splash damage do all the work, and then I don't have to actually confront the sentry head on. This can be really effective with heavies. Obviously they're really slow class. You can just use some kind of barrier and use that splash damage to take them out. But here's another example with a sentry gun. I'm jumping down this slope, I see through that gap that there's a base, so without having to take on any damage at all, I can just sort of sidestep and put stickies down and use that splash damage to take out the base and be on my way. So obviously as a demo you have the ability to sticky jump, and as you get more experience you may want to try doing this more often. But I just wanted to talk about the two scenarios when I actually sticky jump myself. I don't actually tend to use it that often. It's more when I come out of spawn, I know the route I need to take, I know there's a health pack on the way, because obviously as a demo it takes away a fair chunk of health, and it's really important to be able to get that health back so you can be of use when you hit the front line. So getting to the front line quickly is the main reason I use a sticky jump, but occasionally it can be really useful to use a jump just to get you some kind of strategic advantage. So in this example we're seeing me jumping onto this little tall rock thing. I know I'm not going to be at full health, but it could give me a huge advantage over the enemies, and in this case it does, and I'm able to attack them from behind and deal out a huge amount of damage. This is a particular route I really love. Obviously my health is really low now, but I know for a fact that there's a health pack just around this corner, and it means I can get to the enemy's spawn and you can cause some serious havoc. So I guess the tip would be just to, ease yourself into sticky jumping, make sure you learn where those health packs are, and then eventually you can try out the more unusual jumps. So the most important thing of all is of course to make sure you have 10 tips. Yeah, I only made it to 9 tips, but those were some of the things I noticed I was doing and I thought they'd be interesting to talk about. There are some other things briefly worth mentioning, like make sure you replenish your ammo and health. Obviously set traps. As a demo man, that's kind of what you're designed to do. And then, although it can be annoying, spamming can be also very useful. But yeah, the 9 tips I went through are just things that, after looking back on footage of myself, I noticed I was doing a lot. Some of them were, slightly less obvious, and I thought they'd be worthwhile talking about. So I hope you enjoyed it, I hope you found something interesting in this video, and I'll see you in the next one.